Hi. Yep. Yeah, I can't go home. Please, I'm leaving.
Late night footage has captured some truly terrifying things. One clip shows a shadow-like entity leaping from a collapsing man in the middle of the street, while another shows something hiding beneath a child's bed before suddenly dragging them into the darkness. So if these recordings are real, then what exactly was caught on camera? What begins as an ordinary night quickly becomes unsettling when a Ring camera records a strange and unidentified creature approaching a house. Its unnatural appearance has caused many viewers to describe it as a skinwalker, though no definite explanation has ever been confirmed. Was it simply a misidentified animal, or a distortion caused by the camera? Or could something far more disturbing have actually been captured on camera? This clip transforms a common childhood fear into something far more disturbing. It starts peacefully showing a young child lying on the floor, calm and unaware, until sudden movement appears beneath the bed. What first seems like reaching fingers quickly reveals a shape that doesn't appear human at all. Within seconds, the figure lunges forward and drags the child underneath the bed, abruptly cutting off the footage. Whether it was a staged illusion, skillful editing, or something far more unsettling remains uncertain, raising the question of how easily familiar places can become the setting for our deepest fears. Security cameras occasionally record moments that seem impossible to explain. In this disturbing clip, two men are walking down a street when one suddenly collapses without any warning. As his friend runs over to help, the scene takes an unsettling turn. A dark, shadow-like figure appears to burst from the fallen man and leap toward the other before instantly disappearing. No trace of it remains afterward. Whether this was caused by lighting camera distortion or something far more disturbing remains unclear, raising the question of how often surveillance footage may capture things that don't seem to belong in our world at all. People continue searching for an explanation behind this unsettling clip. Late at night, a strange creature can be seen clinging to the side of a house, its glowing eyes shifting as it watches the area around it. Its fingers appear unnatural, and the barking noise it makes doesn't sound like any known animal. What this creature actually was remains unknown, leaving viewers wondering what may have been lurking in the darkness. An investigation is still ongoing after a backyard camera recorded the disturbing disappearance of a young girl. The footage shows her being quietly guided toward a thick wooded area, but the figure leading her appears deeply unsettling, exceptionally tall, far beyond normal human proportions. No clear information about what happened to her afterward has been released. Whether it was a trick of perspective, a misidentified person, or something far more sinister, remains uncertain, leaving behind one chilling question: what or who was truly leading her into the woods? This disturbing footage captures four unclothed figures moving with motions that seem beyond normal human behavior, vaulting over a fence with eerie speed and unnatural agility. Their appearance and movement patterns don't match any known animals, leaving viewers split between believing it's an elaborate fake or something far more terrifying. What do you think was actually recorded on camera? Outside of haunted buildings, some highways are believed to have chilling legends of their own. A Louisiana truck driver had long brushed off stories from other drivers about a mysterious figure seen along a remote section of road until he encountered it personally one night. While passing through the area, he noticed a pale, hunched figure that looked like a young girl standing in the roadway, raising one hand as his truck went by. Rather than stopping, he quickly drove off. Whether it was the result of exhaustion, a trick of the mind, or something truly unexplainable, remains unclear, leaving people to question what really waits on that road after dark. While on a nighttime patrol in Saudi Arabia, a police officer notices a figure dressed in white with long dark hair that appears human yet strangely unnatural. When it begins moving toward him, fear takes over, and he runs, realizing the figure is following behind him. Some believe it was a witch, while others claim it could have been a skinwalker, raising questions about the true nature of the creature appearing in the shadows. It was a quiet Saturday night at the Española police station when Officer Carl Romero was monitoring surveillance cameras during his shift. As the station sat in silence, a strange flicker appeared on one screen, which he first assumed was a moth, common during night patrols. But as he watched closer, the shape revealed legs moving with an unsettling fluid motion that resembled a human silhouette, yet didn't behave like one. The figure drifted through a secured sally port, passing gates that should have triggered alarms, but none sounded. There was no visible entry or exit, no mechanical noise, just the figure gliding in and out of view.
No. Was this a ghost?
So Romero reported it and told his supervisors. Detectives showed us the camera that captured the image. They say there is no way in or out of the secured area.
Detectives later reviewed the footage and ruled out lighting issues or technical glitches, highlighted there was no logical way for a person to move through that area undiscovered. Officers at the station also reported other strange experiences, including unexplained sounds and sensations late at night. Whether this was a rare camera anomaly or truly something paranormal remains unclear, leaving one lingering question: if it wasn't human, what exactly was walking through the station that night? A police officer was inspecting the area when a disturbing noise suddenly broke the silence. As he continued forward, a terrifying scream rang out through the darkness, immediately causing him to stop, turn back, and retreat the same direction he had entered. Whether the sound came from a natural source or something far more unsettling has never been determined. In this disturbing footage, viewers notice a bizarre, shirtless figure moving in an unnatural way across an open grassland. Its strange manner of walking instantly unsettles the people recording, leading them to believe they may be witnessing a skinwalker. The video cuts off before any answers are discovered, leaving behind one unsettling question.
What was that?
He's walk creepy.
Dude, that was a skinwalker. What?
Follow him.
I videoed it. What the?
Was it simply a person behaving strangely, or did the camera capture something far more terrifying? In August 2024, Richard Rossi and Kelly Tabor traveled to Lake Champlain to film Lucy and the Lake Monster, a project centered around a young girl searching for evidence of Champ, the legendary lake creature. At the time, the trip felt like a normal filming adventure, but later, while reviewing drone footage back in the studio, they noticed something unexpected. In the lower right corner of one shot, a large shape can be seen swimming just behind their boat, moving steadily through the water. Neither filmmaker remembered seeing anything unusual during filming, making the discovery even more unsettling. Some believe it could have been a large fish-water distortion or a trick of light, while others think it closely matches long-standing descriptions of Champ. If it was only a coincidence, why did it appear so clearly, and how long had it actually been following them across the lake? A person notices a small figure resting between the thick branches of a tree. Its shape so still, it nearly blends into the bark. At first it appears completely motionless, yet visible enough to catch attention as viewers watch in silence.
Boom! Hey, car slipping. No, don't freeze up now. Oh. It's zooming, moving. I don't want to hear nothing.
As the camera slowly moves closer, the figure suddenly rises, its posture straight and tense. For a brief moment, a pale shape stands out clearly against the trunk, before slipping into a hollow inside the tree and disappearing completely.
This the spot. Nah, come back out. Look, why they be peeking like...
The opening remains empty, the tree perfectly still, as if nothing had ever been there. Some believe it could have been an animal retreating into cover, or a trick of shadow and depth, while others find the movement too deliberate to ignore. If it wasn't simply hiding, then what vanished into that tree right in front of everyone watching live? In 2016, people at a gas station in South America were going about their morning when they noticed something unusual hovering nearby. The object floated just above the ground, slowly drifting toward the station in a way that felt unnatural, almost deliberate. Instead of ignoring it, several workers gathered the courage to move closer and investigate. Approaching something already this unsettling was risky enough, but they weren't prepared for what happened next. As soon as they got close, the object suddenly shot upward into the air, leaving everyone stunned. Some believe it may have been a rare atmospheric phenomenon or a misidentified object, while others point to its controlled movement as something far harder to explain. If it wasn't simply a trick of light or wind, then what exactly rose into the sky that morning? Following a pack of dogs into the forest, a group moves quietly as leaves crack beneath their feet. The woods stay silent until a subtle movement between the trees suddenly makes them stop. As they slowly move closer and scan the area, a figure becomes faintly visible, blending almost perfectly into its surroundings. It stands completely still and calm, seemingly unaware that it's being watched. The group freezes, struggling to understand what they're looking at. Some believe it could be an animal or a person hidden by shadows, while others remain unconvinced. If it wasn't either of those, then what was standing there so perfectly concealed by the forest itself? A group of dirt bikers rides along a forest trail when one of them suddenly crashes into something unseen. As the others rush over to help, a bare human-like figure appears in the distance before quickly running down the path. The group tries to follow it, but the figure moves with surprising speed and disappears into the tall grass. The riders search the area and call out, but nothing appears again. Their friend is left unharmed, though clearly shaken by what happened. Some believe it may have been a person or animal, misidentified in the moment, while others question how it vanished so easily. If it wasn't either of those, then what exactly did they encounter on that trail? In January 2012, a man uploaded footage to YouTube that he believed may have captured the Slender Man, taken from a channel that no longer exists. Years later, in 2015, he sat down to record a game review, unaware that anything unusual was happening around him. As the camera continued, rolling movement appeared outside the window in a nearby wheat field. A tall, thin, dark figure stood there, neither moving closer nor backing away. It remained completely still, silent, and fully visible in the daylight. When the footage was reviewed later, the figure was still there, faceless, motionless, and unmistakably present beyond the glass. Some believe it could have been a person or a trick of a perspective, but if that were true, why did it remain there so long, watching without ever moving? Deep in the woods, a man sets out searching for a cryptid rumored to stalk anyone who enters his territory. The area is completely isolated, with no signs of civilization and an uneasy stillness hanging in the air. As he follows strange tracks deeper into the forest, it feels like he's getting closer to whatever he came looking for. What he doesn't realize is that the roles may have already reversed. After sensing something behind him, he turns and catches sight of a dark, shadowy figure lurking between the trees. The creature appears unnatural, almost alien, silently watching as if waiting for the right moment to move. Some believe fear and imagination may have filled in the missing details, but if that's true, why did it feel like something was clearly tracking his every step? A group of friends walks through a forest when strange sounds suddenly come from above.
Lo está manejando, lo está manejando.
Él es mi protector, no habré de caer. Dios es mi salvación, mi gloria. Es la roca que me fortalece.
Está rezando Junior.
Gracias a Dios. Confía siempre en Él, loco bien. Habla que sombra de Él. Dios es nuestro.
Branches shift overhead, and they look up to see a man perched unnaturally on a tree branch. Behind him, a dark shape appears to hover as he slowly climbs down, staring directly toward them. Frozen with fear, the group slowly backs away.
Este no es Munra. This is Misael. Misa.
Before leaving the area completely shaken, some believe it was just a person or a trick of shadows in the darkness, while others aren't convinced. If it wasn't an illusion, then what was really hiding in those trees that night? Imagine walking through a dense forest when something unusual suddenly appears between the trees, partially hidden from view. As you move closer, a creature slowly walks through the clearing, its head lowered and movements deliberate, seemingly unaware that it's being watched. Each step feels heavy, yet strangely quiet as the observer follows from a distance. Some believe it could be the hodag described in old legends, while others think it was simply a misidentified animal. But if it was neither of those, then what exactly was moving through the forest that day? On September 22nd, 2024, a skipper named Sean detected something unusual on his sonar while working on Loch Ness with maritime pilot Liam Mackenzie. The monitor displayed a long, massive object roughly 320 feet beneath the surface, unlike any fish or debris he had previously encountered. When they attempted to find it again, the object had disappeared completely. It may have been a sonar distortion or some unidentified natural feature, but it raises the question, was it simply a technical malfunction or something still moving beneath the waters of Loch Ness? As a group of campers packed up their campsite in the quiet forest of Clearwater County, the calm atmosphere was suddenly interrupted by something that immediately felt wrong. The silence between the trees, the dim lighting, and the sensation of being watched created an uneasy moment that led them to grab a camera. The footage later uploaded by Sunny Vader on YouTube shows a large, dark figure standing among the trees before slipping back into the forest. It may have been a familiar animal seen under unusual conditions, but the posture and size leave room for doubt. So, what do you think caused that sudden feeling of fear? On an October night in 2015, a quiet drive near a golf course in Little Egg Harbor Township suddenly became unsettling, as though something nearby didn't feel normal. Dave Black instinctively captured a blurry photograph showing a dark-winged figure rising into the trees, with what appeared to be hooves beneath it. He later maintained that the image was authentic and claimed he had no explanation for what he witnessed. It may have been a misidentified animal distorted by motion and poor lighting, but what do you think this photograph actually captured? Late one night in July, a quiet section of wooded property became the center of growing unease after something unexpected appeared on a trail camera. The images, later posted online by the landowner, showed a barefoot woman walking back and forth through the darkness for hours around 5 a.m. behavior. That immediately seemed strange considering the rough, overgrown terrain. The footage disturbed the owner enough to contact police, who reportedly found the situation equally confusing. While some believe she may have been out jogging, there are no nearby trails, and the area is so thick that even the owner's dog refuses to enter it. So was this simply an unusual but harmless situation, or something far more troubling happening in the woods that night? In October 2024, staff members reviewing night vision footage at the Bristol Zoo project felt that something seemed wrong inside Bearwood, a large predator enclosure. One recording showed a strange four-legged figure with what appeared to be wings and horns, and even the nearby wolves and wolverines seemed unusually disturbed. It may have been a deer distorted by camera angle and motion blur, but with no obvious match to any known animal. What do you think the cameras actually recorded that night? In July of this year, a remote property located far from the nearest town became unsettling after unusual trail camera images appeared online. Shared by the Lower Florida Bucks Instagram account, the photos came from two different cameras and show a blurry figure moving rapidly through the frame. The distortion may have been caused by speed or poor lighting, but the shape doesn't appear completely human. So, what do you think this actually is, just a camera illusion or something out of place in the woods? It began quietly, with a family noticing clean, perfectly formed holes appearing along the fence in their backyard, patterns that seem far too intentional to be caused by animals. Concerned by what they found, they reviewed their security footage and discovered something unexpected. Late at night, a tall and thin humanoid figure appeared, moving with an unnaturally smooth motion as it inspected the fence, leaning toward it before disappearing back into the darkness. The figure never stepped onto the property, but its repeated appearances were enough to unsettle everyone who watched the footage. It may have been a person distorted by lighting and camera perspective, or something misidentified in the dark, but what was it trying to do at that fence, and why did it continue returning? While walking beside a remote river in the Appalachian Mountains, a group of tourists felt something was wrong after their attention shifted across the water. Near the tree line, a huge dark figure briefly stepped into view, far larger than a person with a strangely shaped head and unusually long arms extending above the river's surface. For a tense moment, it seemed to turn toward them before silently retreating back into the forest. It may have been a large animal, distorted by distance lighting and perspective, but the size and motion closely resembled countless reports from the region. So was this simply a mistaken sighting or another unexplained encounter hidden deep within the Appalachian wilderness? While hiking alone through the Appalachian Mountains, a peaceful moment suddenly became unsettling in the surrounding forest. The clip shared by Trail Tracker TV on TikTok, a page normally focused on calm outdoor scenery, captures a distorted human-like voice calling for help in a warped and unnatural way, with no visible source anywhere nearby. As the sound carries through the trees, the hiker's breathing becomes increasingly tense, revealing his growing fear. It may have been wind audio distortion or someone genuinely needing help, but folklore often connects voices like this to mimics believed to lure travelers away from the trail, so what do you think was truly calling out from the forest?
Stop! 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 Please! 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 Please!
While hiking alone along a remote trail in the Appalachian Mountains, Dee from Dee's Dark Adventures started feeling that something about the area seemed wrong. The footage she later uploaded shows her realizing she may not be alone. Whatever is nearby appears to move only when she moves, stopping each time she stops.
Yeah. Hi. Hi. Yep. Yep. I can't go home. Please, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. What is that? It's a snow. What the fuck is it? Dude, no! It looks like a person, man. But no person. It looks like a fucking person. Stop. I need a person. I need a person. Ah! It just keeps getting up and down, up and down. Oh! Keep running. Somebody drive by. Somebody drive by.
As she backs away toward an open area, the camera briefly captures a low figure near the tree line. Slowly rising upright, its movement appearing deliberate and deeply unsettling. It may have been a misidentified person or wildlife distorted by shadows and fear, but the behavior feels intentional, so what do you think was actually following her along that trail? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story, share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.